You know, as I'm reading this chapter, I couldn't help but to just be like, damn, Kubo does not give a damn about my boy or the rest of these visors. Nah, it's me, Captain Visor. It's We Live Action. You already know what it is. Here to bring you this week's Bleach chapter review, chapter 561, titled The Villain. Now, of course, it just kicks off instantly with Kensei coming from the rubble, heading towards Mucho Flex, and he just vanishes right there, just moves very quickly, and he knees Kensei. After he knees him with the star knee kick, then he headbutts him, and after that, we see Kensei again, his Bunkai knuckle change, and when he goes to hit Mucho Flex, we see it does have some type of effect, and then we see James rooting for the motivator again, and at that point, Mucho Flex, he grabs Kensei's arm and he chops it. I mean, chops it so hard the bone comes out. Then he chops him in his back, sends him flying down. You see the blood leaking from Kensei's elbow. And Mucho Flex, he comes down, all of that, just mass and body weight, just right down on him. And he says, you know, he don't even have to count to 10. And at that point, one of my favorite parts of the chapter, we see James. You see something just pierce right through his chest, and bam, we see Rose. He cracked that whip, splits him right in two. I loved it. So, that pisses off Mucho Flex naturally. And I like how Rose, he said, you know, Kensei, he left the opening, so this was my opportunity to, you know, take advantage of that. And then we see he goes Bunkai. Finally, after years of wondering what his Bunkai is, he finally goes Bunkai. And his Bunkai, you know, is, you know, it fits perfectly for his character, but it still threw me off, you know. Some is like these dancers of death. You know, it's like he's a maestro. You see these maestro type hands, and you see these weird looking figures. And they have on their faces is like the tips of his Shikai, you know. And basically, I think the first act is a type of water dance. You know, they're doing their aquatic dance around Mucho Flex. Then the second act is with flames. And Mucho Flex, he's kind of freaking out. He's saying like, damn, how can a Zanpakuto be water and fire? But come to find out, it's just an illusion. You know, it's all an illusion, but it plays tricks on the heart and the mind. And the fact, and with that fact is that it's not doing any damage. It's just making you think that you're taking damage. Basically, it's mind trickery, mind fuckery, you know, basically. And he goes on to explain the ability of the Bunkai. I believe the Bunkai can Shara Butara Batakan is one of those. Pardon me for messing up, but when he explains it, he goes on to do the third act. The third act, I think it's called Life of a Hero, Death of a Hero. No, I think it's Life of a Hero. Mucho Flex, he goes to plug his ears in, and Rose tell him like, no. It don't even matter if you cover your ears, but Mucho Flex, he crushes his eardrums, and at that point he couldn't hear. Right there, he got just right by his Bunkai, and he does a new technique with the star on his head, shoots the beam right through Rose, and he drops. And you see he's still twitching, so Mucho Flex, he knows he's still alive. And he goes on to finish him again. He shoots another beam, and bam! My boy Renji shows up, blocks it with his Zanpakuto. And he asks Renji, who are you? And Renji says, oh, me? I'm just a villain. And it says to be continued. Now, first thing first, alright? I'm thinking to myself, what's the point? You know? And when I say that, what's the point of constantly rooting for these visors when Kubo is just going to give him the short end of the stick? I mean, I did call it though. I did call it. I said in my last review, I said I don't think Rose and Kensei are down for the count because they just got knocked into some buildings. They can bounce back from that, and that's exactly what happened. Also, I did say I would want to see Rose rather Hollowfy and go Bunkai, but we see he did not Hollowfy, but he went Bunkai. And I did say Renji, you know, he's in the area, like he has to fight Mucho Flex. He has to fight him, and look who shows up, Renji, just like I knew it. Also, Charles' Anime World, he was rooting for Mucho Flex. You know, he was right how he put down a smackdown on Kensei, and how, you know, he just has that brute strength. You know, I will give Charles' Anime World that. However, I think is gonna be over. I mean, it only makes sense. We already see what's going to happen. Renji's going to fight him. Renji's going to beat him. No, you know, villains die. That's what happened. This is like the rematch. Renji did his training. He got stronger. Also, there will be a point, maybe Renji will get pushed to releasing his Bunkai. Or maybe he's just going to say, you know what, forget this. I'm going all out. Bunkai. And at that point, we will see his Bunkai look different. I know it will because Kubo stated it in an interview. But back to the visors, man. I mean, I could understand if Kubo had him say something like, no matter what, I refuse to use my hollow powers because this is something that we did not want, we did not ask for. It was done to us by Aizen, and we refuse to use those abilities given to us by him. We're just gonna use our strictly Shinigami powers. I can understand that, but they didn't say that. So it makes you wonder, why is Kubo letting them just get their ass whooped without donning their mask? I don't understand it. But Kensei, man, he's just done now. I mean, first Wonder Weiss, now Mucho Flex. Now what? Like I said, he just got his ass whooped. Look, fair and square. Someone said it's not fair. Yeah, little James, rooting for him, because if you look at the chapter, when he punched him again, it did do some type of effect, some type of damage. I mean, all the way over to the left, you see that thin panel. You see Mucho Flex face, like, oh shit, like that. It was doing some damage, but then we see James playing cheerleader, and then he got that power up boost, like he off Alter Beast or something, and he just chops his damn, elbow. And then Rose, let's get on Rose. Finally, yeah, I mean, that was cool, the way out of nowhere you just see he just killed James. That was sweet what Rose did. But I guess that was the last sweet thing he will do. Because now that he's done, I'm going to say he's done. I did think he was dead, and I thought he got cut in half. Like, I thought he shot the star beam and went like this. But upon looking at it, I'm like, wait a minute. It's just the hole shaped like a star. You seen the smoke coming from it. But I think he's still alive now, but maybe later on he will die. But things ain't looking good for Squad 3, man. I mean, Kira is done. It looks like Rose is going to be done. But right after he goes Bunkai, he loses. But you know what this is a prime example of? This is a prime example of why you should keep your damn mouth shut when you are fighting an opponent. If he did not explain his ability, Mucho Flex wasn't even known to cover his ears. He could have killed him. The third act, Life of a Hero, he could have killed him just like that. But oh no, he had to boast and brag. Now I know some of you are thinking, well, Ace, for writers' purposes, they have to explain the ability. I mean, they just can't have a character activate a Bunkai and not know what happens. Well, apparently, Kubo has done that before with Unohana. Her ass went Bunkai, and we didn't get an explanation. But I will go about it in a different way. I mean, why have the person explain their ability in battle? I mean, once they go Bunkai, do a quick little flashback panel when they first achieved Bunkai, and then their inner spirit was explaining to them what the Bunkai was. Do something like that, but don't do it in front of the enemy, because you give your enemy the advantage. But we see, because of that, now he ass out. I mean, it looks like Kubo doesn't show no love for the visors. If he does, it's only a select few. I guess he showed love for Hachi, because Hachi, he is the one visor who did the most important thing out of all the visors. I'm sorry. I could give Shinji some credit. He was the first one to literally draw blood from Aizen throughout the whole series. Other than that, even Shinji, he ass out. All the visors are ass out now, except of course Mashiro, Love, Hachi, and Lisa. But other than that, I'm like, damn, I don't know what Kubo is smoking on, but whatever he's smoking on, he needs to go back to his supplier and get a refund, because this, I mean, the chapter was better than last week. I will say that, because some of the things I called out, it ended up happening in this chapter, and I'm just glad that, look, Renji, he is about to fight, because Renji, he was my very, very favorite first Bleach character I liked. He was my first. And we see now Renji, he's more powerful than these visors. I mean, who would have thought? I'm calling it right now. Some of you saying, well, how do you know, Ace? I mean, it's evident. But we got these captain level visors. And now we see Renji, he surpassed them. Thanks to the Royal Guard training. But the chapter is pretty cool. Got to see Rose's Bunkai. James is dead. Let's see. Mucho Flex is about to die. I know he is. I'm giving it 2 weeks, 3 weeks max. 2 weeks, he will be done. Because maybe we still have to see his final holy form. And then Renji, we're gonna have to see his new Bunkai, but I'm calling that. So Rose, I think out of all the visors, man, Rose and Kente, them two got punked the most. Rose, he just seemed like he's just the most irrelevant, insignificant visor, man. I mean, to look back at what he's done, the last big impact the visors did outside of Hachi was take on the Minnows. But then after that, Hachi, he did one of the greatest things ever. He defeated one of the most powerful villains in my book in Bleach history. I mean, Baragon. I mean, he could just control time like that. It's just messed up the way. And then what the hell is Kenpachi? Now, if Kenpachi was in the mix, yeah, this would be a whole different story. But damn, that's my old thoughts about Elite. So next week should be an all-out Brawler team. My boy Renji, Mucho Flex. And I know what people are going to say. I'm going to wrap it up right here. I know what people are going to say. Oh, Renji only won because James is gone. What if James was still here? Renji wouldn't have won. I know people are going to say that. But hey, it's your opinion versus someone else's. But it's me, Captain Violent Ace. Thanks for watching. Give me your thoughts. Damn, give me your thoughts, comments, and concerns. I'll see y'all next week. Signing out.